Yeah, yeah. Of course, many people fail. Like many people fail at doing a lot of different diets. There are people.
Right. Well, that's different from what you said before, because you said without fail, this works.
No, what I said is that within this population of people, there are people who say, I will get to this weight in a certain amount of weeks. And they do it without fail. I said, those people do it without fail.
Okay.
I don't say that they all do it without fail.
Those people at the very, very far end of a bell-shaped curve.
But I also want to say,
they are the exception and not the rule.
Understood. Okay. But there are also people who do work normal jobs, who choose to compete, who track their calories, and they live normal lives. I know many
of results vary wildly, don't they?
Well, I mean, results vary wildly with anything you choose to do because of the individual that's choosing to do it. I make a choice.
That is my argument. That is my argument right there.
But I mean, also, Bart, we don't track our calories. I'm not over here saying that you must track your calories. I haven't tracked my calories since 2017. And have maintained a great body composition with habits, as you talked about. Like we maintain certain habits that allow us to eat to satiety, right? That allow us to have certain things within our day. We don't track, right? We eat real food. So no, I'm not saying that people can do this without fail. There's nothing that people can do without, your choices.
So we're
in
agreement.
But what I'm trying to get at here is I don't know how we can say that the calories and are we talking about the semantics of calories in, calories out, or that it's purely wrong? Because if it was wrong, and the only reason why I'm referencing this population, this population of athletes that track their calories, track their intake and everything, is because this is a population that is going off of the thing that you say is wrong, and they're achieving those results fairly extremely accurately. Some do fail, yes, but the ones that track and they pay attention to the way their weight varies, because it goes up and down, it doesn't just go straight down. They pay attention to those things. They can get from point A to point B by tracking calories.
Fine.
And I just wonder,
there's no disagreement here in terms of there are some people who do get the result thereafter. They are the extreme end of a bell-shaped curve. They are an exception to the rule. They are not the rule. You also need to be very clear, if you're going to be honest with your viewers, about what it is I have said about calories in, calories out. And what I have said is that as a tool for Joe Public to use in order to predictably achieve a given output in a given amount of time, it is not going to work for most people.
And by work, what do you mean?
Remotely as well as they want it to.
Okay.
It is a mistake to do that, because what people will find themselves doing is they'll place themselves at a certain so-called caloric deficit at the outset. They will see that it's not working as they track themselves along, and they will steadily increase that caloric deficit because I'm just not calories in, calories out hard enough. I know how to do it even harder. And they will end up vastly, grossly, hugely under-eating for a significant number of months often at a time, and in so doing they will destroy their metabolism, they will undercut their health, and they will actually reduce their odds in future of actually ever achieving the goal they're looking to achieve. It's stupid, dumb, contraindicated advice to say calories in, calories out always works. It's the law of the universe, and you too are subject to that, because that's just false. It's rubbish.
Our Project family, how's it going? Now, as you guys know, we have been talking about cold therapy for a while. Mark, Andrew, and myself, we all use cold plunge XLs since we're pretty big. But the cold plunge is amazing. And there are a lot of cold therapy tools out there. Obviously, you can use your shower. But the amazing thing about the cold plunge is, number one, it doesn't take up much space in your home or your backyard. And number two, you don't need to change your water, unlike other cold therapy devices, for 6 months to a year. It filters itself. Let's not even talk about all the benefits of cold plunging, like the dopamine release, how good you feel after doing it, and just the cascade of hormones that happens after you get in some really cold water. It's crazy, and we love it. So, Andrew, how can they get it?
Absolutely. You guys got to head over to thecoldplunge.com, and at checkout, enter promo code PowerProject to save $150 off your very own cold plunge. Again, thecoldplunge.com, links to them down in the description, as well as the podcast show notes.
How does somebody lose weight? How does somebody lose weight when they're not in a caloric deficit? I believe this is something that you've said, but I could be
this is something I myself
not
have
accurate.
done. Yeah, what you need to understand, Mark, is that words are important. A spade is a spade, and semantics do play a role here. Now, weight is a force exerted on your mass, however that mass is made up, by gravity. In effect, gravity is not actually a force, but let's not go there. Your weight is a vector of gravity pulling your mass down towards the center of mass of the Earth, basically. Your weight is made up in a lot of different components, the largest of which is water. For someone like myself with my body composition, my water composition is around about 63 to 65% of my mass. Okay. One of the things that causes a person to maintain a lot of water in their body or on their body is inflammation. If you consume a diet that's anti-inflammatory, your body will toss that water off and you will lose weight on a scale. Now, I did a 2-week period between the 1st of January and the 1st of January and the 14th or 15th, whatever it was, around 2 weeks, 15 days, something like that, at the beginning of this year, where I was tracking the so-called calories in the food I was eating purely out of interest. It wasn't the point of the thing. The point of the thing was I was doing a thing called priming, which is a program of vastly, grossly overeating for 2 weeks solid prior to a period of body recomp and cutting and stuff after that, which then goes on for 90 days following that. What it does is it sets you up psychologically to be able to do some fasting. It makes sure that your body is replete with all the nutrient that you require on board so that you're not going to get short of anything while you're doing the fasting. And it's actually also a little bit diversionary because when you're eating that much food for 2 weeks solid, you honestly feel at the time, or I felt at the time, I'll speak for myself, I felt like if I never see another steak in my life, that'll be fine. Or any food of any kind. I was just so pogged. Now, for those that want some kind of context here, I am 50 years of age, 50. I'm 5'6" and 135 pounds dripping wet. Now, I was consuming 6,000 to 6,500 so-called calories in the form of steak, associated fat with that steak, and additional fat in the form of butter and a yogurt-based tzatziki preparation, pretty much. 3 full meals a day plus snacks, pog myself to absolutely rifting for 14 days solid. Here is what happened. I lost 15 pounds, 12 and a half of which, give or take, was water. The rest of it was actually fat. So there is no way you could say I was in a caloric deficit that would suggest that there was any reason I should have lost 2.5 pounds of fat during that 2 weeks. Nonetheless, that is what occurred.
Was there anything previously that you were doing that may have led to some of the results too? Like maybe you were eating a lot of carbohydrate and then you dropped them out or something like that?
I was eating a very small amount of carbohydrate because I've been a very low carbohydrate follower for about 27 years. I'll tell you exactly what I was consuming that was carbohydrate based, or at least some carbohydrate based. I was having a packet of corn chips, maybe once a week, the occasional piece of pizza, that nasty supermarket pizza that comes in a plastic wrap that you put in the oven for 12 minutes, that kind of junk. Oh, God, vile. And I was drinking probably 12 units of alcohol a week in the form of cider, a low carbohydrate cider, but not a zero carbohydrate cider. So all of that stuff was dropped out. However, none of that, all of that, added up to anything remotely similar to 6,000 calories a day or 6,500. So what I did in effect was increase my caloric intake 3.5 times over in that 2 weeks, during which time I lost roughly 2.5 pounds of fat off my body and about 12.5 pounds of water. So calories in, calories out is busted. There are other things at play, endocrine responses, hormonal responses, inflammatory responses. These things are important. They are not included in the calories in, calories out equation. Ergo, the calories in, calories out equation is incomplete, it's reductionist, and it is an error.
Peeps, we love bringing you all this fitness information, and we also want to help bring that information to more people. So if you could help us out, hit that red subscribe button and then hit the notification bell, and we'll continue to bring you the heat. And I won't whisper in your ear. Talk to you guys later.